Hey, I'm Amanda from Trifecta Fitness. We're proud to be Clarksville's new Get Fit headquarters. Trifecta Fitness is a state-of-the-art spin and strength training studio. Our spin studio is truly one of a kind in this area, complete with 20 state-of-the-art live fitness bikes and an incredible sound system. Our strength training is done in small groups of 6 or fewer, and all of our strength and spin classes are scalable for every level of experience. Come see us in the heart of Clarksville, just behind MAPCO at the corner of Old Trenton Road and Wilma Rudolph Boulevard. Call us for more info at 931-542-6265 or download our Trifecta Fitness app for a full list of upcoming classes.
Welcome back.
MisFitNation. MisFitNation.
We are a show founded by veterans and hosted by veterans and a military spouse. Our mission is to get people to tell their story to the world. If you're an author, share your tips with the Misfit Nation. If you're a musician or actor, our audience needs to know how they too can get into the business. Coaches, we love our coaches. Come on, share some of your tips with the audience to help them become better versions of themselves. If you're a corporate leader or an entrepreneur, come on and share how you did it and how hard you have fought for success. If you're a veteran, first responder, or Gold Star family, we would love to have you come on and just share your story with the Misfit Nation. We always have time for you. Reach out, we will get you on. If you are feeling down, alone, or starting to see the darkness, stop. Think about those who are around you. You are not alone. You will be missed. If you feel like your problems will be a burden to those in your inner circle, or are embarrassed to share that with them, please dial 988. If you are a veteran, take option 1. We need you to keep pushing forward. Don't make a permanent solution to a temporary problem. If you're a new listener, welcome to the Misfit Nation. Be sure to subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast apps and also on our YouTube channel at @the_MisfitNation. That's @the_MisfitNation. Subscribe and click the bell. This will keep you up to date with all of our latest episodes and all of our news. You can also find us on Electrocast Media and About Face Radio. This will keep you tuned into us and learn more about our great guests.
Our next guests are part of something bigger than they are, bigger than I am. It is the People's Patriot Project, whose mission is stated as follows. We are the shock and awe in combating the silent, invisible, and deadly enemies of our daily heroes. Our vision is to provide a community and network of support with the necessary tools, insights, and resources to aid in the rehabilitation of veteran and current service members and civil servants to go through the recovery process and transition into real-world opportunities and situations. So without further ado, let's welcome Andrea Eichmann and Mark Peterson to the Misfit Nation. Welcome, guys.
Hi.
Welcome, Rich. Thanks for having us, brother.
Oh, it's awesome. I was glad that we were able to link up. Andrea was on Alignable. I don't usually get good links on Alignable. That was an awesome one to grab, and we had a little talk last week. I said I have to have you guys on here and get this chat going.
It was cool. I honestly don't I meet a few people in Alignable, but it's usually people I already know. And then this just kind of fell into our lap, and it was kind of a cool match.
Awesome. And if you guys don't mind, tell me a little bit more about both of you and how this whole thing started.
You want to go first, Peterson?
Did you want me to go first?
Peterson
So,
is where it started.
I just want to check one thing.
Shock and awe.
Did that come through?
Yes. Yes,
Shock and awe, baby. That's
it is.
So where this started, so I did 14 years in both. Jonathan Crochet, good to see you, brother. Get the crew coming, man. Get the crew coming. I was actually a firefighter at the time. I had spent 14 years in the Army and Minnesota and Wyoming National Guard. I'd kind of done the whole thing. Ran into a little bit of peace at the end where I wasn't happy with the way that my service was ending. It was ending by my choice, but it was because I just couldn't handle the nonsense that was going on. I was part of a headquarters battery. We had a huge turnover right at the end of our upper echelon and command sergeant major, colonels, XO, CO, all of them. First sergeant I'd been with there for the entire time. And it just, so I got out, became a firefighter, and I was realizing that our firefighters who are part of volunteer fire departments, they give everything. And people don't understand this. If you're part of a volunteer fire department, a lot of times you're giving your personal resources to help make for your apparatus, for your protective gear, for your training. And at the end of the year, there's nothing, may not be nothing. There relatively low amount of resources to accommodate family vacations, doing things. So a lot of times the firefighters are spending a lot of time together, which is not a bad thing. But I saw a relation to the commadership as a fire team and the commadership that I was also on a fire team, not firefighting, but shooting howitzers in the military. I was seeing a relation, but my biggest piece is I wanted to come up with something that I wanted a one-stop shop facility for firefighters to take their families and get that recalibration, vacation, maybe do it with your friends, maybe your spouse and your children, the social emotional readjustments, the trauma, PTSD related issues and stuff. I was looking to create that piece. Started in 2012, and I held it really close to my heart because I was the only one in the world that had this idea, and I didn't want anyone to steal the idea and run with it. So I kept it close to my heart, made sure no one could steal it. And as I'm living through the years, I'm like, you know what? We are still having, I know our world says 22 a day. Our world, I mean, we go with the numbers of 17 to 75 because the numbers do fluctuate but they don't fluctuate very low below 22, but they go extremely over 22. We're still losing that many people. And I said, it's time to, quit talking about it and be about it. And in 2018, I started recruiting people into the network and saying, hey, this is what we're going to get done. And I'm also a school teacher. And I go to all these teaching conferences all the time. And I ran into some amazing people in the teacher network that I wanted to pull into this. Miss Eichmann happened to be one of these amazing people. And I didn't really reveal to her how crazy I was yet. I think she knows where we're at now. But I asked her if she'd be interested in being part of this journey. She jumped on. A lot of learning curves, learning the branding, learning the modeling, the molding, the whole process, marketing. That's the actual word I was trying to come through. And this is where we're at today. Truth be habit, we run a podcast live stream every Sunday night called We Got Your Six at 6 Patriot Playtime. And we launched that in 2020. And it has been absolutely we haven't been able to stop it. It's been amazing. We had people come into our network. So during our podcast, we bring on kind of this scenario. A lot of shows yet, but I'm going to start tuning in and making sure we're keeping an eye on it because I think we can grow and learn together. We bring organizations from all across the country into our show to share with everyone what their mission is. And so the goal in that is to not let anyone slip through the cracks. And we also, I know people use the terminology and the phrasing toolbox, tackle box. It is literally a tackle box because we use we in everything. We have organizations all over the country, 180 of them in our network, affiliates that I can call up and say, hey, we've got so-and-so on the side of the road. We need help with them. We don't have the resources. Are you in the position to help with this person? They're in your area. And these are true stories. This has happened. We did it with a veteran in Florida. He stated at that time he was going to commit suicide. We saw it on social media. Andrea connected all the pieces, and we like to have someone there within 10, 20 minutes. And I mean, from Minnesota down to Florida, we had someone next to him within 40 minutes. The irony and really chilling piece of this is the guy actually had a Minnesota connection with Minnesota family, and we found that out after the fact. I got the chills right now, but we've insisted on our pieces we insist on boots on the ground and not talking about it. You have to be about it. There's some people we've welcomed into the network, and we're seeing. We have it directly written in our mission statement I can't remember. I'm having a moment. Bylaws. Thank you, Ms. Eichmann. That's why I got around. We have it literally written in our bylaws that we're here to cut the fluff as well. There's roughly 46,000 organizations in this country that say that they're here helping veterans and first responders. And I personally feel there's no data behind this. It's just from experience. About 10% of those organizations are actually putting their skin in the game, putting their boots on the ground, and trying to get the job done. Everyone else is just, I'm sorry, they're fluff. One of the exciting pieces are when people reach out to us for help, 90% of them literally are just happy someone's on the other side of the line. And they say that. You actually answered the call, or you actually called me back, and we hear the stories. We reached out to these organizations, and we don't even get an email return. We got a postcard, and we have made it our mission to make sure that we are committed to being in. We can't help everybody, and that's our truth. It's frustrating. The resources aren't there to accommodate all the needs. We also on our show talk about not everyone who's a veteran and first responder are broken, and we're not here to fix them either. We're here to help recalibrate those that need the hand. We have made so many amazing friends across the country. I feel like I'm taking a lot of time and speaking a lot, but we do a lot. So I want to make sure I'm going to kind of let you ask your questions and conduct the interview and let A-Bomb get in here.
Yeah, Andrea told me that you like to go and go and go, and I enjoyed it. Though you said a lot of great things there. I'll let the A-Bomb get in here too. Throw some in there, then we'll get in some questions.
I never said that, Peterson. Just for the record, he must have watched that show. I'm kidding. No, I mean I don't have a long story like that. I have not served. I serve as a teacher, so I guess that's kind of I feel like it might be a penance or some sort. I don't know how bad I was as a student myself, but anyway. So yeah, it was my dad was National Guard, and I've always just had a high regard for those who protect. I mean, the nation, the country, the world, really, and then in our communities. And I have always wanted to thank and be supportive. And so when I met Mark, 5 or 6, almost 6 years ago, I don't know, but I met him it was a teacher gathering, and we had friends in common, and he started talking about this People's Patriot Project and the nonprofit and things he was doing, and it sounded kind of exciting. And so I jumped on, and I think that, we've done so much. It's kind of eerie when we sit down and we think about all the things we've done, all the people we've met, all the places we've gone, in the name of the mission and for the sake of the mission. And even our direction, never our mission has changed, but sometimes our directions have changed. And we've just added so many facets to what we originally started with. And this whole podcasting live show thing, really, it's an amazing thing. I didn't think I'd ever sit in front of a screen and talk at lots of people. I speak at little people all day, but who knows who's out there watching right now. No, it just is what I like about it, because I'm a team player. And so the collaboration piece is amazing. And you do find those who, some of them don't want to share just because they don't want to share. Some of them, they're just so driven and focused in their mission, and that's okay. They're doing what they need to do. And then there's us, and we're just kind of, so there's this, when I play a little game on my phone, like maybe a brick breaker or a solitaire, and then this little ad for this game comes up, and they're on this boat and they pick up people along the way, and the more people you have, the more, I don't know, that's about as far as it goes. But that's what I feel like, is we're kind of that ship, and we're always moving forward, because that's what we do. And we pick up people along the way, or people pick us up along the way, and we do things together, and it works well. And that's kind of the biggest piece of what we do, and collaborating. I like the networking piece. We've done a lot of recommending nonprofits that do other aspects than us. And so we just kind of put their hands together with whoever's looking for their service. And it's honestly fallen into our laps, and it all just fits together very nicely.
It's outstanding. I think what you're doing is amazing. And I liked how you call him by his last name. My wife does the same thing to all her teacher mates. They call him by last name. It drives me nuts. I tell her you have first names and stuff, but if you're not in the military, you don't do that. You're not Mrs. This. You can just call it by first names. No, they can't do it. So I love how you keep it going on here. That's amazing. Mark, you brought up some great things earlier. One thing that we say here all the time, not all veterans are broken. And I hated I think it was 2015, 16-ish, when the Warrior Project really was hammering that home that all of us were broken, and basically telling us we were broken, and you have to come to them for help. And if you don't come to them, you'll remain broken, and you won't get that blanket that they give away for $12 a month, stuff like that. And hearing more people say that we're not broken, it lifts my heart up. It makes me feel like, even if I'm touching one person out there showing that we're not broken, we just need a hand up, not a hand out. Sometimes you just need that kick in the butt point in the right direction. That's all we need. We're not broken. So that's an outstanding thing. And the other point you made about the thousands and thousands of nonprofits out there that say that they're for the veteran or for this or that, and really are all about the them, not about the we. So that's outstanding that you brought that up.
It has been, I can honestly, if you told us we'd be where we're sitting today, even 3 years ago, I've been like, there's no way. We've got a radio station that's exclusively veteran and first responder musicians. It's called WP3 Radio. We're getting ready to change it over to another platform. We've got, I don't know, it's then our show. We got 2 shows a week. We're getting simulcast on Heroes Media Group. We've had 2 other organizations reach out to us recently and said, let's get your content on there. We're literally trying to do an all collaborative effort. We've heard the big names. We've heard what the big names have done. We know where the resources have gone. We also know there's been a restructure to those organizations as well. But this is straight from the dust, man. This is grassroots, veterans helping veterans. This is building networks. This last October, we took 27 veteran musicians into Nashville. We did what was called the WP3 Nashville Takeover. We played 6 venues in 5 days. And if you told me and Andrea got the chance to do the red carpet at the Grand Ole Opry, nice. we don't deserve that. We don't want to be the face of this, but at the same time, we do a battle cry. What are you doing? What is your mission? Everyone has the chance to be part of something. And if we're letting our brothers and sisters, the ones that put the blood, sweat, and tears, lost limbs, some of them have lost their lives, if we're willing to let them slide behind, then this isn't a foundation in a country that I want to be involved with. And we need to lift them up. I'm sorry. This is one of my phrasings is we get to lay our big fat heads on the pillows of freedom every single day, not worrying about what's coming in our back door for the most part. And I know that there's times and there's places, and we live in Minnesota, man. We ran into some culture wars here in the last 3 and 4 years, and I I'm not going to bow down to, defund the police crap, and I'm not going to bow down to, spitting on the blue. We've got some bad eggs. We got some bad eggs in every single part of our facets of our life. Just because some idiots make some poor decisions, don't make that we have to blanket cover everyone with, police brutality. That's not the case. As long as we got people running into burning buildings and I get it. There's some just can't do it. And then you weren't meant for it. You weren't built for it. We're not asking you to. We got to take care of those that are. And they are dealing with additional traumas because they're serving the people, we the people. And let's give them a hand, man.
Outstanding. You mentioned the Nashville takeover, and I know you have another event coming up here soon. Let's talk about that a little bit. What's your name of that event, and how can people get involved with that?
Yay. Well, we're looking at our event is in Dallas on May 27th. It's actually Coppell. I have to speak Texan, right? Coppell, which is just north of the airport a little bit. And so it's at a place called The Sound. I can pop up the address and stuff here in a minute too. A place called The Sound, and these ladies are helping us put it on and put it together, but we're doing it in the name of fundraising for us, but we're also sharing more of our veteran performers. And I say performers because we have 5 music groups and a comedian that will be playing. And our comedian is Chad Hutto, and he's from Texas. He's also our MC for the day. It starts at 2 p.m. and it ends at 10 p.m. And we butt up right against the, Carry the Load. Carry the Load will be coming into town, into Dallas, on Sunday at noon. So we'll finish up at 10 on Saturday night. And the music just has to be done. Everybody can hang out after that for a while. But we'll finish up, and then hopefully the next day catch up with Carry the Load people and catch up with them, see how their day is going and how many thousands of people are coming in for that. But I do want to say this, as Mark was talking about the Nashville event, and we mentioned the veteran musicians. And when you're in the music world, sometimes I feel like I have to clarify, because these are veterans that are musicians and first responders that are musicians. And we have come into contact close to 100 different groups and individuals, bands and individuals who they're around the country. Mostly, I don't think anyone's outside the country, but at this moment, some are still active. So, and through that journey, and I know people are always asking, like, what does that have to do with your mission? Why are you chasing musicians around the country? And why are you music managing right now? And it's not part of our mission. It again fell into us by doing our show, because we were letting veterans and first responders share their stories, and then they would share what healing processes they went through. And all of a sudden we had like another one who used music and then a music therapy. And then this one got into music because of their healing process. And so we got into this ring of musicians. And I just want to say the biggest compliment that we've gotten out of that whole trail has been when we brought some musicians up to play for an event. We were doing a fundraiser for another, he's a Leo now in the community, but he also served as in the Army. He was a combat veteran and Army veteran. And so we put on a fundraiser when his house burned down. These musicians, we just brought them up because we knew them, right? We brought them up to play, to help bring in money and people to this event. And then they played for our ruck the next day. So really we had them doing a favor for us. But in the hindsight and in the turnaround, they claim they've never been treated as well as that. They've never been to anything like that. They enjoyed every minute of it. And to hear them talk about being recognized as a musician, which is what they do now, but also bringing that veteran or first responder piece along with it, made a huge. And then when there's female veterans that are now performers, it's just another big step of recognition for their name. Not that they're asking for it, but we just gave it to them in our thanks. And so that turns around and gives us another layer of feel good for just knowing that we're doing some of the right things.
And I think all that comes together too. And when you're helping one set and another group needs that help as well, you're able to help them. Like Carry Load coming to town right after you. And Carry Load's a pretty good organization. I think they travel the country as well, where they have sects around the country or chapters around the country to do this as well. And that's a really good organization. Being able to work with them in concert while you have a whole day thing in Texas. It's going to be hot, so it's going to be fun and hot at the same time. But then the next day you can carry the load and help out there as well. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, and that's one of the pieces we make sure we're not stepping on others' toes. We're asked by other organizations all the time because of our network of musicians, can you get a musician for us? And that's where we ended up getting into this management piece. We're setting up one here in Minnesota for this coming August. And we have a JT and the Gunslingers come to that event. And last year we did Ride to Remember. We had JT and Shannon Book come to it. The greatest piece is allowed us another piece of network, and we get to see the people we care about, and that's another piece. And the network just spreads out. We have organizations that want us to come and live stream their events. We've gone down to do the OP vet in down in Austin.
Round Rock. Yeah, Austin.
Round Rock. We had the Chattel Foundation, again, another Chattel or Texas organization. We've had Feed the Heroes Foundation have us come down to Georgia and work with them. It's been just an amazing ride. And like, my phone blows up daily with conversations, A, with these leaders that are trying to make a difference, B, with the people that need the help, and C, for the people that want to try and do, how do we help these veterans get back on their feet? And it literally is, most of the time, I'm going to tell, so this is my pride. My pride is, since we've started this organization, within our network, we have not lost one veteran or first responder to suicide. I knock on wood every single time I say that. I absolutely am in fear of the day that we're going to hear of a loss, because statistically it's going to happen. But we've been going strong since 2018, and we have not had one, just because I just reached out to a brother. It's not a completely stinking thinking post on Facebook, but he laid some stuff out there, and I just simply reached out to him right before we got on here. Said, "You all right, brother?" And we just recently did a thing called Weepy Wave, and it was reaching out to one person a day in your network. And we did straight across the board, anyone in your network. We're not talking veterans and first responders. Reach out to someone once a day and just say, "Hey, I was thinking about you." I would prefer that it's a veteran or first responder, because that's the network we're working in. But we started this wave because we call it wave because one drop in the bucket is a drop, but all of us together create the ocean, and we will get this. And it's not push-ups. And I know we've got two camps. We got camps of people that say the push-ups do nothing, but I know that some people, I saw the eye roll. It's good for some people. It gives them a method. It gives them a reason. Go do all the push-ups you want to. Enjoy and let it be your thing. I say reach out to your brothers and sisters. Check on them. Check on your leaders. Check on the people that were close to you at one time. And I do ask and have the mission to drive and push yourself to go mend one of those relationships that you broke off years ago. And the reason why I do that is I had a very dear friend who was a Navy veteran. I was his best man in his wedding. We kind of had a little falling out. I knew alcohol had taken a huge grip in his life, and he died. And I never, ever fixed that relationship. And I'd be a liar to say that he didn't mean something to me. The hard part at the end of all this was his mother called me to speak at his funeral, and we hadn't spoken for 3 years.
Wow.
And I'm like, you know what? I got to eat the cake that I baked here, and I need to reach out to the brothers and sisters, even when I know we've had a struggle or had an out. So challenge yourself. Reach out to those people that something is broken, something's not right, something's not working. Reach out to them.
That's outstanding. And Jake chimed in, Mark, that is pretty amazing. it's proof that what you're doing something right. And he also sent me a picture of all his dogs watching the big TV with the YouTube. So we have more listeners than is actually showing on the screen now. So thanks, Jay.
Thank you, Mr. Holland.
That's awesome. Thanks, Jake. Very cool. Yeah, I think we've met our challenges along the way too. And every time we run into a challenge, it seems to be a bigger challenge. And it's only made us tougher. For one, we had a huge after last fall's event challenge, challenging our entire being right there on social media, which is so amazing. Weirdly, it turned around and kind of knocked them down and built us up and only solidified our relationships with our people. And that's tough. That's tough. You don't want to hurt the others. And we didn't say a word. They kind of dug their own hole. But I have to remind Mark sometimes the more we get challenged, that means the more we're doing the right thing. I mean, it's almost biblical. Like you're going to get challenged
made it, right?
when you're doing the right thing. So it's not fun. It's not a good time, but it happens. So.
And Mark, I just had the conversation with the push-ups I had the other day. That's why I rolled my eyes. Me and a couple other veterans had that conversation. I told him, I said, me doing push-ups isn't going to stop Joe in the corner from doing something that we don't need him to do. It'll stop me from doing it. And if he does it, it may stop him, but I'm not going to do it to help him. It doesn't do anything for him. It needs, like you said, you got to have
the conversations. Right. You got to have the conversations. You know what? We can raise $1 million here to do what we're trying to do, and it doesn't do a hill of beans if we're not having the real conversations. We've unveiled some stuff on our show that I never knew for males. I know that females deal with a ton of military sexual trauma in the worlds that they're in. And sadly, I've watched it. I've not witnessed it. It's not like I let it happen, but I've known that's happened. I've watched the way men treat women in the armed services and in the world in general. But I never knew that it affected the males. I can't say equally, but the number of men that have reached out to us and the number of men who've come onto our show and talked about the military sexual trauma they've been exploited to, I'm just like, that's one of my shock and awe moments, man. That should not happen. And this goes back to another conversation. Not everyone that's in the military and as first responders are the clean-cut all-American heroes that we want them to be. It's back to what we're talking about with the police officers. There's dirtballs out there, and we try to wean those out too. And I'm not going to send anyone to the land of darkness because of it, but we will support until we know we shouldn't be supporting anymore.
Exactly. I think you put it right earlier. In every fact of life, there's people that are not good apples. Even in every family, there's probably one bad apple in every family that you have to go and shake that tree. You either shake the tree or punch him in the throat to get it back online. And that's what helps sometimes. And sometimes that'll help our brothers and sisters to get back on the straight and narrow. A throat punch helps everybody sometimes. And sometimes just bring back the knife hand gives that little shock and awe, like you said earlier. Shock and awe helps a lot of people as well.
So some people in our marketing world have asked us, why are you talking about the shock and awe? Why is that even part of your thing? And I'm like, here's the deal. If you've ever been in basic Army, and I'm gonna say Army and Marines, and I've got to experience it in Darth. If you've never felt the concussion of an artillery round or even a flash and bang grenade, blah blah. If you've never felt that and don't understand what it's like for the air to leave your lungs and your heart to feel the explosion, that's shock and awe. That's throw a flashbang in your room. Don't do that. But throw a flashbang in your space, and it affects your hearing. It affects your vision. It affects your heart rate. That's the shock and awe. But we need to create the shock and awe in letting people know our veterans are out there. They exist. If you look at our graphics, it's this, I call it ugly green, puke green. It's annoying green. It's an eyesore green on a bed of digital black camo. It's an oxymoron because we're done not being seen. We're done protecting your asses forever and letting you live your lives of freedom. They're in your grocery stores. They're in your community. You have firefighters that just ran into a burning building last night to save life, liberty, and property, and they're shopping for eggs in the same grocery store you're shopping for eggs. And I'm not trying to throw anyone under the bus here. I mean, we got less than 10% of our country has got skin in the game right now. That's veterans and first responders, and we got 90% of our country, trying to figure out if their bank is going to take all their money because we've invested with the Chinese government. I mean, there's a reason why you have those freedoms. And it's because of the men and women who have put boots on the ground, blood, sweat, tears, limbs, and sometimes lives. And I sound like I'm preaching now, but I do get there sometimes.
You're hitting all the right points, though. So that's perfect right there. Without skin in the game, you really don't know what's going on. And without that's less than 5% probably that do all those jobs, both first responders and military, or have done it. And for us to take up that much of the weight, and not having any people understand besides saying thank you for your service and shaking their hand. And there's a lot of people when they say that don't even understand why they're thanking you. They're just saying it because it's what's supposed to happen. And I always just say no problem. So I really don't know how to answer that when they say thank you for your service. I never know what to say. No problem. I do it again in a heartbeat. It's like having a kid's job for 22 years. So it was great.
600 million first responder calls a year, and we have less than 6 million first responders in the country.
See?
Figure that out.
It's that weird math. That's that Common Core math, I think. I need a math, or either you have a math teacher. See, we need one of them in here. So I wouldn't be able to do the circles and squares and triangles and stuff right there to make that coming up to a normal number.
No, it's ridiculous.
Yes. So for the event in Dallas, or Coppell, Texas, just north of Dallas there, by George H.W. Bush Airport, I believe, right? So how do people get tickets to that, or how can they, hey, we want to help fund some of this for you? How can they do that?
So I put a link in the chat there. We have a platform for the tickets. It's trustworthy. It's been around a long time. I've already got some tickets rolling in there. There is a donation space in there as well. I've had a few donations, so everything's rolling in there. I also have an ask out there for sponsors. We have to get a little extra insurance rider. I think that's it's like $200. We've got a couple $500 asks for security for, there's a lake behind it. So there's some fencing that goes around. So that's one of the things we'd like to get sponsored, and we can put big signs on that. And then we're looking for, we got a couple $1,500 asks out there, and that's just for all of the extras that come along with it. And
Mr.
then
Daniels, you found us.
Look at that. He's here.
Jeremy's here.
Danger comes. He's got good stuff. And then we have like $500 asks out there. And that is just for supporting each one of the musicians. The head musicians, of course, there are some band members as well. But if we could get that topped off, we are expecting enough in donations to cover the rest of their bands. So those are the biggest support sponsors we're looking for. And that all can either be, it can be given through that online ticket donation area, or you can find Mark or I. We have our numbers all over the People's Patriot Project page. Just give a call, text, leave a message, whatever you got to do. We'll get back to you as quick as we can. Don't call Mark, actually. If you do, tell him to give the message to me, because I have all the paperwork right here. So yeah, send it to me. I have someone, Holly Ann. I got to throw a shout out to Holly Ann. She's helping me. She's down there. Terrell, I believe, helped me with these Texas towns. And she's got everything rolling and setting things up, and made a lot of media contacts down there. So Fox 4 News, is going to do a little segment. And is it the Wolf down there in Texas is going to be doing some advertising. And then another media group has gotten a hold of us and given us some cool packages for media as well. And so this isn't about us. We love the People's Patriot Project is doing this. It's not about us. But Chad Hutto is funny, and he's been traveling around doing his show around Texas and spreading out outside of Texas. I mean, if you guys have been to Texas, you know that can keep you busy for 800 years traveling around. And then
it's right over. It's right behind you. It's right over
the backyard.
Down the street.
We're gonna run to the store right over there. It's like 80 minutes away. Anyway, and then so we had Tammy Jo is coming from South Carolina, and she will be performing second to last. Holly Ann will be last. Then this amazing band, Old 81. They will be there. They chose to be second in line. They just wanted to have a little more time to get ready, get up there and get ready. And right now they're in the Austin area. So we got some more shows coming in Austin and Houston. So I believe they'll be involved with this as well. But that's the ones we have so far. The George Michael Dooley Band as well. And they will be providing some backup. So we've got a little Southern rock. We've got a little red dirt country rock. And then we've got some definite country. And then we've got the girls, I'm going to say they're going to be a little bit of Southern rock and country mixed together. So it's a little bit of a variety. I have been trying to stick to some similar genres, so we didn't get too crazy with some, we just had Shannon Book on the show and played his I Need to Breathe. And I think that wouldn't fit the genre, though he would be an amazing, he'll be in one of these shows with us at least, but it doesn't fit quite the genre. It would probably wake people up a little too much in the neighborhood. So bring chairs, bring your cooler, bring waters. It's going to be a fun day. Like you said, it's going to be a long, hot day. So you know what? Wear a tank top, get a tan, bring a lot of water, sunscreen, all that.
Yeah, wear your sunscreen. Don't wind up with melanoma, I guess. And
watch out for the fire ants. That's something we found in Texas the last time we were down there.
I hope they spray for that. Oh my gosh.
It's not just a mound right there. It's not just a mound of dirt. Just be careful.
It's a moving mound of dirt. Oh my gosh. We saw so many people dancing. There was a park when we went down there once, and they hadn't sprayed like the back part. And I was standing there talking Bobby Withrow, and something's biting me in the ankles. And I'm squirming and I'm scratching with my other foot. And Bobby's like, what is going on? I'm like, oh no, my ankle itches. He's like, oh my God, girl, get out of that. You got to move around a little bit. Shake your leg. Like, what's happening? And yeah. And then
us gringos from Minnesota don't have that stuff up here.
Because the fire ants freeze. You got a chance.
You got a sunfish sucking on our big toe sometimes, but that's
about the same size as the fire ant. So.
Oh yeah. Once you know the signs, you start seeing other people. There was a big guy enjoying the music up front. All of a sudden, he's sitting in his chair and his leg is bouncing and he's squirming back and forth. And pretty soon, he's jumping up and he's swinging his shirt around. And I'm like, ooh, fire ants. He didn't know either. He got it.
So you weren't alone. See, that's why people were dancing. You thought they were just dancing. They were shaking their dance off themselves.
It was a little bit. It was kind of nuts. I'm not gonna lie. What is fire ants climbing up your leg?
You've learned a lesson. So now when you go back down, you'll be prepared. Hopefully, they prepared the field for you.
Yes. Yeah, I'm gonna figure out what keeps them off your ankles for sure. Besides for socks,
socks help a lot. Yeah, or off. Skin's so soft. Skin's so soft from Avon.
A little vanilla right in your ankles. Yeah.
Makes you feel really good. So, Mark, Andrea, any last tips or tricks you want to throw out there for veterans, first responders to keep their head above water moving forward?
Well, I mean, one of the things, and we talk about money all the time, and it's not about money. It's about time, talent, and treasure. If you've got one of those things, donate an hour a month. There's an organization in your space. If you can't find an organization in your space, reach out to us. We'll find that organization for you. It's little tiny things that could be folding shirts or helping people with their social media. If you got any of those skill sets, reach out. And everyone has a skill set that can save someone's lives. It's really that simple. Texting your friends is not hard. I know everyone does it anyway.
Yes.
Reach out to someone today. Reach out to someone today. Just a random. I haven't talked to this person a long time. How are you doing? It doesn't have to be a veteran. It doesn't have to be a first responder. We know it's this, pardon the pun word, the pandemic of suicide. We are dealing with significant social emotional disorders in our country. We can get through it, but you got to reach your hand out, and we got to get a little bit uncomfortable so we can get more comfortable. And that's our biggest mission. Reach out, do your thing, be part of the mission. Shock and awe, Patriot pride.
Awesome. Andrea?
Yeah, I guess I'll just add on to that with the coming from the civilian world. And thank you to all of you who have accepted me and let me be a part of this piece. I guess it's in my heart. I'm going to just leave it there. But I have, sorry, that's my dog. It's not my stomach. It's my dog. It's I make this claim, and I think I'm 100% right. But I've not met more than one or two people who have served, and it doesn't matter where they served and what capacity. But they turn around and we've helped some of the most incredibly down and out people. They are rock bottom. They are eating rice and living under their trucks. And as soon as we talk to them, you know what they want to do? They want to help the next person. And that is the heart that gives and the heart that keeps giving. And so I know you don't want to hear me say thank you, but all of those who come back around to help, that's just another round of thanks for everybody else out here trying to help as well.
All right. And there's one more question on there from Sam Coker. The people on the panel, what gloves do you have at home? So I think that was in reference to you taking the gloves off, fighting at home earlier.
Mittens. I just have mittens.
I wear mechanics gloves.
I have some, I don't know, whatever gloves you change oil in. I got some of those out in the garage too. Those big.
I got those latex gloves I have all the time. That's
gardening gloves. Yeah, I don't have any.
I like to smoke meat, so I have those black, those nitro gloves, and I'm not sure really what the question was.
Dishwashing gloves. I take them all off though. Take them all off and get my hands dirty. That's it.
Exactly. Just get in the dirt and work it out. Guys, thanks for agreeing to come on. This is a pretty quick turnaround from the time we talked. And I know I'll be coming on to your show here in the near future, or in a couple months here right before the show. I think I'll be on the show with you, and hopefully it'll be a good time as well.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us, Rich.
No problem. I'll be back in about 2 minutes.
Thank you.
We're gonna need more. We're gonna need more. Eyes gonna need more. Let's stack 'em up to the sky. Gonna need more. Crank on the knob on the radio. If tonight's gonna go like I think it's gonna go, one thing's clear. By the looks of the crowd in here, we're gonna need more. We're gonna need more. We're gonna need more.
Gangland.
Thanks for checking us out and being a part of the Misfit Nation. Don't forget to visit our website at themisfitnation.com. It's themisfitnation.com to catch up on all of our episodes and also to get some of that great Misfit Nation gear. As always, be humble, stay hungry, and keep hustling, because we are